Hey guys, welcome to PhoneRadar. This is Chetan and this is the review of the Gionee slimmest smartphone, that's the Gionee Elife S5.1. Gionee already has S5.5 with a 5.5 mm of thickness, while this one comes with a 5.15 mm of thickness, which is quite sleek and very slim. But the best part about this is that this is having a smaller display than the earlier one, so this is even more comfortable in the hand. The 5.5 was a 5-inch display with a 1080p resolution, while this one comes with a 4.8-inch 720p resolution. Keep the resolution aside, the screen size is something that makes it really comfortable in the hand, and there are a few important differences which makes this an even more better device than the S5.5, though not all factors taken into consideration. We are talking about the form factor, that is where this one looks premium and more better. And when we compare this with the other slim devices, that's the Vivo X5 Max and the Oppo R5, this one looks a bit more better because of the curved frame, that's the metal frame on the with the curves, and that is not flat, so it doesn't go dig into your palm, and that is where it looks even more better. And the pricing of this one is rupees 18,990 in the Indian market. So compared to the other counterpart, that is the Oppo R5 and the Vivo X5 Max, this is quite cheaper because the Vivo X5 Max is like 32,900 and the Oppo R5 is going to come between 25 to 30,000 rupees. So this one will be a better bet than those two devices. And the other things about the form factor is the camera area, which doesn't come with a bump this time. It is a completely flat back panel, and both the sides of the device are given with the Gorilla Glass 3 protection, the screen as well as the backs, because these are the glass back bodies and the entire body is a unibody one. It comes with a Gorilla Glass 3 protection to give you at least the best protection it can give, but it doesn't protect you from the falls and such damages. So this is a 4.8-inch display, and over the display you get to see a 5-megapixel camera with the port of sensors as well as the earpiece. And in the bottom there are 3 touch sensitive buttons. These are navigation keys, but they are very dim and you can't even notice that there is a light glowing below it. So these have become a bit more dimmer than what we had seen in the Elife S5.5. On the back there's an 8-megapixel camera with the LED flash, and that's a compromise that Gionee did to put it back into the panel, because the Elife S5.5 that we had has a back panel with the 30-megapixel camera, which makes it a bit bumpy, and it's not a flat panel here. So that is a compromise with the numbers, but still that is good for most of them who would care about the bump on the back. So on the sides it's all metallic frame, which gives it a premium finish, and there's this chamfered edges on the front and back, and there's a SIM card slot on the right side, while the volume rockers and the power button is on the left side. In the bottom you get to see the micro USB port as well as a headset jack and a microphone on the back, and the secondary mic is located beside the camera. So on the top it's flat and there's nothing, and overall the design looks pretty premium, and the weight of 97 grams is one of the best parts of this smartphone. It is very light and you get a different feel of not holding a heavy device or an actual smartphone, but it is smart. So that is where Gionee did their best part by keeping this below 100 grams, though that is again good by numbers, but also it is really light to hold, and for a 4.8-inch device is a very premium and good looking smartphone. Now let's talk about the next factor, that's the OS. In the OS it's Android 4.4.2 KitKat, so that's the first point to notice. This isn't coming with the Jelly Bean that earlier Elife series smartphones had come with, and the pre-installed KitKat is one of the important factors, because Gionee had been a bit low on the end when it comes to updates. Although the Elife S5.5 had got the KitKat update, the E7 series, E7 is still yet to get the KitKat update. So this one coming with the pre-installed KitKat is a good thing. And the pre-installed applications include Amigo Paper and also Theme, Color, and there's a System Update application pre-installed, as well as the other applications include Dio Speed Booster, Dio Battery Saver, Savan, Camcard, TouchPal X. TouchPal X is the keyboard assistant, which is indeed a great one because of the swipe functionality. And there's Notes, Download, Sound Recorder, FM radio is also pre-installed. And one of the important aspects of this device is this notification panel, where you get to see the quick settings section with everything fully loaded with several quick settings such as screenshot, auto rotate, and the different connectivity options with guest mode, quick power saving mode, timeout, and the RAM management bar on the top, where you just have to tap on the rocket to free some RAM by killing the background applications. So this is all pre-installed and preloaded in the Gionee Elife S5.1, but still it's the same Amigo UI that I haven't been impressed with since the launch of Elife E7. So there are improvements still needed in this, although the graphical improvements are very important and that have been done in this device, but still what is more needed is an app drawer, which is not available here, just like in most of the Chinese smartphone ROMs. So app drawer is just a launcher away, so you can download any of the launchers and just install them, or you can go into some custom ROMs and get it from there. So if at all you wanted that, you can get that, but still I am not much impressed with the Amigo 2.0 UI. And next, let's talk about the display. This 4.8-inch display comes with the Super AMOLED technology, and it comes with a Corning Gorilla Glass 3 protection. So the Super AMOLED technology has been pretty good in this one, especially because of the brightness it puts out and the vivid colors that it shows, and the sunlight readability was perfect because it was still bright and very easy to read under the sunlight as well. So this is much comparable to the Samsung smartphones with the Super AMOLED display, and it does a pretty good job, although it's a 720p resolution, not a 1080p that you would see on most of the flagship smartphones, though this isn't a flagship smartphone again. So that was with the display. Now let's talk about the performance. When you talk about the benchmark scores of this one with the MT6592 processor, the octa-core chipset, and 1GB RAM, the scores are not great because the first reason would be the 1GB RAM, and most of the devices under this price range or something similar with the processor have 2GB of RAM or such, and this one with a 1GB RAM does not get a very good score, but still for the performance basis this is a pretty good smartphone with all the basics getting right, and you don't see any lags or issues. The games played pretty well and the multitasking was good and everything was pretty perfect with the performance, although you shouldn't go with the benchmark scores always. So 1GB of RAM might be a bit of an issue if at all you wanted to do a lot of multitasking, but still on a fresh boot we got about 459 to 475 MB of free RAM, so that was enough for a few applications to be played on the background. And the UC browser is something you should avoid from my personal point of view, because you get Google Chrome pre-installed in this and UC browser doesn't do a great job here. So with the performance there's no huge issues. And next one is an important aspect for such a slim smartphone, the battery life, because whenever the smartphones get slimmer there are compromises with the battery and the capacity gets lower, but Gionee has managed to pack in a 2050 mAh battery into this, and that has been doing a pretty brilliant job, because except for the 3G connectivity and web browsing on 3G, everything else was perfect. I would have got by like 2 to 3 days of standby, and in that only about 6% of battery was down, and when I was browsing the internet it was like 14% battery went down in just an hour of browsing. So that is how the difference is. On 3G connectivity the battery does drain out pretty fast, but on standby, calling and such the battery stays out for long. So that is pretty good that the battery is staying long on a 2050 mAh capacity, and the only point is the connectivity. So that is one thing. The other issue with this was a little of heating near the camera area where the processor is located. So the device gets heated up a bit, but that isn't as bad as the Elife S5.5 was. And when you compare this with the Sony Xperia series, especially the Z3 and Z3 Compact, there is nowhere close, because Xperia Z3 went to 51 degrees while gaming and such, but this did stay back at 44 degrees, and this isn't comparably that hot that when compared to those smartphones. So this is pretty good with all the factors taken into consideration. And finally the camera. The compromise with 8 megapixel camera on the back and 5 megapixel on the front isn't bad really, because 5 megapixel does an okayish job with all the captures that we saw on the bright light were pretty neat, and in the low light there were grains, so that is expected again. But the flashlight was pretty good, which did try to give some natural light, and it didn't throw the light on the object to make it look unnatural. So overall the 8 megapixel camera does a pretty basic and good job, and the 5 megapixel isn't bad either. With the Charm Cam application I did get a lot of better selfies, but again that was a bit unnatural because it did try to remove all the marks and make the face brighter and smoother. So that is not natural and doesn't look really great, but you can use the normal camera application with a front facing camera to take the selfies in a better way. So that was all about the Gionee Elife S5.1. There are good things and there are a few cons, such as the little of heating, the 3G connectivity, battery loss, and the third one would be the UI, which I don't like really. So those are the three cons, but there are many pros than cons here, because the first one is a brilliant form factor with a light weight of 97 grams and this beautiful design with these metal frames having the curved edges with the chamfered finish. So that one is one of the best parts of this. The battery life, the standby, and the call-in time is pretty brilliant on this, and you get this with the Android 4.4.2 KitKat, one of the recent OS versions, although Lollipop version is out. So that is another good thing. Cameras are pretty okay. So overall, the Gionee Elife S5.1 for the price of rupees 18,999. This isn't the only phone that you can purchase on this price point, because there's the Lenovo Vibe X2, which is again a pretty brilliant smartphone with a better processor than this, obviously, and that is a bit thicker than this because of the layered design. But if you're going for looks and the finish of the device, you should go for the Gionee Elife S5.1, obviously. But again, if you are taking other factors into consideration, this isn't the smartphone that you should get. So there are thoughts two way around, and if you talk about the slim phones, only the smartphones with the best slim designs, you should go with only this one or the Oppo R5 if you ask me, because Oppo R5 also comes with a higher pricing, but still it has got most of the specifications on the high end. And Vivo X5 Max, although has good specifications, it is priced way higher than these two smartphones. So this was the review of the Elife S5.1 from Gionee. Do check out the channel for other videos, and we will be coming up with videos in our local languages as well. That's Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, and Telugu. So do check out those channels as well, and do subscribe to this channel and like this video. Thank you.